The Lord is great and He's worthy to be praised. Say good afternoon to you. Pray that the broadcast has found you in a wonderful place. Place of faith. Place of confidence and knowing that the God that you pray to and I pray to will in fact do all that He promised me to do. That and more. Scripture says that He can do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask. You know how we ask, we can ask a lot. We ask a lot, but He can do above that. Because He knows what things we have need of before we ask Him. So with that, let us say, Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, by faith today, we pray for those who are sick and shut in. We pray for those who are struggling in their lives, those who are struggling financially, spiritually, physically, that there will be a breakthrough that will honor your name, oh God, in the name of Jesus. Remember our prayer basket, all the names that are there. I'm asking you right now to look on every viewer, that your anointing fall fresh upon all of us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Well, obviously, the Bible witnesses that in the latter times many shall depart from the faith. That is what we believe. And instead they will give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines, teachings, understandings that actually are of the Antichrist. The Bible says devils. You've heard about the Semita, you've heard about CERN, you've heard about all these different things that are coming on the earth right now. But I want to talk about walking with God. I want to tell you, the value. I want to show you the benefit of walking with God. Walking with God in a godless society. I admit there are times you look around, you see some things you have to shake your head. The things that people do, and then the things that they do to each other, and you wonder what will come next. You hear about mass shootings. You see governmental corruption. And you wonder, oh God, how will I and my family make it through this? How will we ever be able to raise our children in what I will call this septic tank society? A septic tank society. You know, septic tank, there isn't anything in there clean, you know that. But Jesus asked the question when He returns. He asked, shall I find faith on the earth? Now this is where we come in. Walking with God. I mean, there's all kinds of songs about walking. And then there's walking in the rain with the one I love. And then I'm walking with another one. But I want to show you that out of all the things that you want to do, or your dreams, I mean, all these hopes and desires that we have, hoping that our children will, when they leave home, will come back safe. Hopefully that we will go through the dangerous highways and byways and be able to return home safe again. So what about walking with God? In the book of Genesis, chapter 6, one of the most volatile, violent societies ever to exist, godless people who are pretty much like today. Oh, yes, just like today. And we live in an area of time, an era of time, when we got folk that don't believe that God is going to do anything, that they don't believe that God has anything to do with anything. And although the world itself is a big stage, I also want to point out what is wrong. Hear me good. What is wrong with America? What is wrong with our country? Do we just have the wrong party in the White House? What is it? I hope you'll enjoy it from the book of Genesis, chapter 6, Walking with God. Genesis chapter 6, beginning at verse 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. This was as a result of a blessing that God had pronounced over men and all creation. Be fruitful, you remember, and do what? Multiply. But for some reason, even when the blessing becomes misused, when you accept the doctrine of the devil and start doing things that you shouldn't do because of the grace of God, his long suffering, then what seems like a blessing turns into a curse. Now, verse 2 says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men. Now, in the King James Bible, when you see a little g, that means a man or an evil spirit. When you see a capital G, that is the Almighty Creator. This is God the Father that's being referred to. Then the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. They took wives of these women. They found them to be beautiful, attractive. But they didn't pay any attention to whether or not they were the same. They paid no attention to whether or not they had the same spiritual value, the same inclination toward God. They paid no attention to that. All they did is what we do. She's pretty, she's fine, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's what they thought. Now, You have to remember that at the same time, while there's a lot of controversy about verse 2, whether these were the children of fallen angels or whether or not they were the children of Cain who was banished from among the people. Verse 3 says, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with men. For man is also his flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Now, I know people who have taken this verse of scripture and they have taught that a man's lifespan is 120 years. Now, right here it says his lifespan is going to be 100. He's immortal, and his days is going to be 120 years. Now, I'm going to tell you what that means. Because you'll see after this time, people lived a lot longer than this. A lot longer than this. But what God is getting ready to do on the earth at this time, in this septic tank society that we're reading about, God told Noah to build an ark. Noah was building that ark 120 years, which God was saying in his own words, he was going to give all these evildoers 120 years to straighten up the act. But then at the end of the 120 years, God is going to do something about it. Always know, don't never forget it. Whenever you see wickedness and evil, God is going to do something about it. It won't just go on indefinitely. It won't, as you will soon see. Some people don't believe God will punish them. There were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that. And also after that day. Okay? When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. So the children, the offspring of these people, were mighty men. There's a lot of history laid down around this period of time in other books that talks about great feats, great acts that these people were able to accomplish beyond what we would think ordinary men could do. But that is not our point. And God saw that the wickedness of man, hear me, and God saw that the wickedness of man, you ought to tell somebody, God is watching you. God is watching. I know you think you're getting away with it, but God sees you. Amen. No, it doesn't matter right now because you think you're slick enough, smart enough, can't nobody stop you. You're doing what you want to do. Now listen, he saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination, listen, every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Now, I'm going to tell you what is wrong with our septic tank society. I want you to remember these words. When the wicked is multiplied, transgression increases. I want you to play that back in your head. What did I say? When the wicked is multiplied, transgression increases.
Yeah.
Let me make it more simple for you. The more sinners you have, the more sin you have.
That's right.
The more sinners, the more sin. And this kind of transgression, when a lot of people are involved in it, it emboldens men.
Yeah.
In other words, it causes them to be more bold. Same thing happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. It started with a couple of people, obviously. And then it just spread like a plague, like leprosy. And the more people that do evil in society, and the more people join in with them, all it does is it causes everybody to hit the street, almost like in a riot. One guy knocked the front out of somebody's building, and so everybody starts doing the same thing. This guy grabbed him a TV, another guy get him a TV. So they become emboldened through this act. So now do you see what's wrong with America? When the wicked is multiplied, transgression will increase. You see things happening today you've never seen happen before in this country.
Amen.
Why? Because the wicked is multiplied. And because they are multiplied, as I said, the more sinners you have, the more sin you have. So you remember that little phrase there. When you see something really going crazy and haywire, the wicked is multiplied. Then the transgressions are going to increase. Now the Lord saw this, and the imagination of their heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have made, who I have created, from the face of the earth. Listen now, off the face of the earth. Now, have man, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, and for it repenteth, listen, me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah.
In a septic tank society with everything going crazy, everybody loose, everybody evil continually, everybody wicked, the wicked is multiplied, transgression increase, sinners grow in numbers, sin grows right along with them. And in the middle of this, one man decides, I'm going God's way. Now, at the time, he seemed like an oddball. You remember that phrase, when in Rome, do what they do? Oh, and there's another one. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Isn't that an excuse? I told you, sin, like leprosy, spreads, and it is most clearly seen in high populated, big numbers, and families must be taught and must be disciplined. You know why? You know why? Because if not, they become evil families. They become evil families. Evil family. You imagine that? An evil family. Now, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Listen now. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man. Listen now. He was a just man and perfect in his generation. And Noah walked with God. He walked with God. Noah kept himself with God. Noah stayed with God. Despite what was going on in this society. Everybody know right from wrong. Don't you know when you're wrong? People are so selfish. And they want to do wrong so bad. They'll risk going to hell just to do what they want to do. In other words, for your evil deeds, hell is the highest reward that you can receive. What is that to strive for? When you could simply walk with God. Think about it. Walking with God. Out of all the wickedness and all the evil and all the stuff, this man decided to walk with God. In a society like we live in. Ezekiel prophesied that there will come a time that right will be called wrong and wrong will be called right. I don't think you're aware of the world we live in. People shoot the innocent down in the street for no reason at all, except they got a gun. And lie and say, well, I didn't have no choice. Food contamination. These things are not accidents. This comes from a godless society. And I keep telling you, when the wicked increase, transgression increase. I mean, you look around you and all you see is idolatrous things. Idol worshiping. It's everywhere. Why do you think they could get away with down with God, down with commandments, lock a person up in jail because they don't want to marry two women or two men? What, I mean, open your eyes. What can you do about it? I was talking to one of my children, and he was saying, it's nothing you can do. And I hope he's watching. You can walk with God. Amen. That's what you better do. Amen. That's what you can do. Amen. To go and jump with God. Now, you should be disgusted over that. If somebody smashes in front of your business, steal your goods, think that would upset you? Take your stuff, you think that would upset you? It would, wouldn't it? Yeah. You should be just as upset by sin and sinners. You should dislike it just that much. It ought to upset you. Yes. Now, what happens? What happens? And Noah begat 3 sons. Okay? And Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was with, listen now, the earth also was corrupt before God. God said the earth was filled with violence. Do you see any violence in your society? Do you ever see any violence? You think anything like that ever happens? And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. That meant that they knew right from wrong, they chose wrong. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me. For the earth is filled with violence through them. The earth is filled with violence, but it's through them, through the wicked, through the sinners, through the evildoers. That's where it's coming from. That's where it's coming from. And so God said, behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of, listen now. Now this is where you come in and where I come in. I said, walk with God. Now, since you were a child, you had some kind of Bible study or church or Sabbath school or Sunday school or some kind of teaching about God. You didn't know it, but it was then that God was building his ark in you and in me. Another way to put this is he was showing you and I a long time ago a way of salvation out of this godless society. Out of this godless society. When people with PhDs, nothing worse than an evil genius under the control of demon spirits. That's all it is. They do things that are antichrist in nature to approve of legislation that is antichrist in nature. Antichrist in nature. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall I make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch, which is tar. And this is the fashion which, listen now, thou shall make it of. Now, carefully take this verse. God is going to give Noah the formula for deliverance. I want you to hear that. God is going to give Noah the formula for how to get out of this. He's been giving you the formula for how to get out of this all your life. He's been showing you since you were a little boy, since you were a little girl, what to do about this day when it comes. He told you in the last day prayer was time to come. He already warned us about this. He told us men would give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. When you see all this much wickedness going on, who you think running the show? Because the joker got on a tie and can conjugate verbs well, you think he's not evil? Look at what he does. Look at what she does. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. If it has oranges on it, they're orange in color, smells like an orange, tastes like an orange. Guess what? Probably an orange. Okay. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits. The breadth of it, 50 cubits. And the height of it, 30 cubits. God is, listen, where God is concerned and where we are concerned, God is very specific about what we are going to have to do to be saved. He's telling him that the ark should be 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high, without variation. He told him, this is how you're going to build it. A window shall thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shall thou finish it above the door, and the ark shall thou set in the side, and the door shall thou set in the side of it with lower, second, third decks, third stories, thou shalt make it. What he's telling him is 18 inches from the very top below the roof. Make a window going all the way around the top. That's so that the animals can breathe. And you know, I could go on and on and on, but I want you to know, drop down to verse 22. Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him to do. So he did. And that's what delivered him. That's what delivered him. So while you are trying to be whatever you're trying to be, you're trying to be tied to a certain whatever, listen, that's not it. Because when the time comes, and it's coming, believe it if you want to, it's coming. You need to put your hand in God's hand. Because after a while, guess what? The good time won't matter. Who wins the football game won't matter. Who builds the house won't matter. How much the car costs won't matter. Because there's a time coming. The scripture said they shall run into the rocks and cry out, fall on us. And the rocks will cry, no hiding place. So while it's day, work. While there's yet time, work. Keep your hands in the Lord's hand. And know that whatever happens, if you are with God, walking with God, God can walk us out of this. Now, when you go back and read, all those people drowned. They drowned. And afterward, there were giants in the world. That just tells, that's a whole other subject. But that just tells me somebody that built one of them giants on that boat. Because everybody else was dead. God said everything in which had air in its nostrils was dead. It was so bad, not even a bird could escape. When he sent the raven out, the raven came back. He sent the dove out, the dove came back. You know why? There was so much water on the face of the earth that covered the mountaintops. There was no place for the bird to light. There was no other place of refuge. There was no other place of safety. And a bird with a brain that small had enough sense to go back to their ark. He continued to do that until one time Noah sent it out and it came back with an olive branch. As the ark came to rest on top of Mount Ararat. And then he sent the dove out again after 7 additional days. And he said, and the dove didn't come back the last time. That's when he knew the water had receded. But I want you to know, though the wicked increase, that's why we got so much transgression. These demonic faces on the side of buildings in New York and everywhere you look. And all this about people trying to open the bottomless pit. All of this is coming from wicked people. When the wicked is multiplied, transgression increases. That is what's going on. But remember I told you this. God is going to visit it. He's going to visit it. He's going to visit it. Now I want you to think about those people outside that ark. You know they wanted to get in there. But the Bible says God sent an angel to lock the door. Noah couldn't open it. Wouldn't you like to have been in that ark? Wouldn't you like to have been in that ark? Yes, you would. Because everything that was not perished. God bless you and keep you. Until we come back together again, let the Lord come first. In Jesus' name.